Hey, Kurt Bestor here. It is time for another Between the Notes. It's been a while since I've posted my Between the Notes, but it's something I'm going to do in the weeks and months ahead. A lot of you have asked why I stopped doing it. Well, I was doing it before and during COVID, and then I just got busy writing music and forgot to post some of these interesting stories about the songs and the people that I work with to create these songs. I want to talk about the Olympic music. Because I think that's always going to represent a very unique part of my musical life. So far, I've been lucky enough to write music for 2 Olympic Games, but 4 different projects in regards to those games. So in 1988, Sam Carden and I were invited, along with the gentleman from Nonstop Productions, to score music for ABC Sports, who was at that time doing music for the Olympics. Now it's NBC, but for years it was ABC. And we got asked to go up there with a bunch of computers. This is early days of Mac computers, a Mac Classic and a Mac C, for those that know what I'm talking about. And it's just the beginnings of doing music with MIDI, sequencing, and so forth. It's kind of inside baseball, so I won't go too deep into that. But we were tasked with scoring, writing the underscore for the episodes that ABC would do. I remember in particular, that was Alberto Tomba from Italy and Hermann Zurbriggen from Switzerland, 2 ski racers that were pitted up against each other. And so we had to write music about that. And they'd bring us the footage, we'd score it, and then put it on the air by 6 o'clock that evening. I probably would blush if I heard it these days, knowing what we can do now with technology, but in those days it was cutting edge and seat of the pants productions. In any case, that was the first opportunity that I had to write music for the Olympics. There was another thing that Sam and I did, and that was we scored the promotional material ahead of the Olympic Games in '88. And for that, we were awarded an Emmy, having done these promotional pieces. They're pretty artsy and cool. Well, fast forward now from 1988 to 2002. Now the Olympics are in my backyard, and I had the opportunity to write music again with Sam Carden for the closing ceremonies. The closing ceremonies and the job that we were tasked by the production company out of Los Angeles, which will write about a 10-minute piece of music for the closing ceremonies, where the athletes would all come in with their flags. If you've seen the Olympics, you probably recognize that as a fun march. All the people come in at the end of the Olympics. We recognize the victors and the losers and the people with all their stories. Well, anyway, we wrote this piece of music, which we'll include at the end of this episode. And that was we call Flags of the Nations, processional. And I had an opportunity to conduct this music live in the stadium with freezing cold. I remember it was like 5 degrees, and I was conducting, and the orchestra and the choir in the south part of the end zone of Rice-Eccles Stadium. And I'll just never forget that feeling, hearing the notes that were in my head, now conducting the orchestra, the backdrop of all these athletes and people in the stadium, and then literally billions of people watching home. What a memorable experience that was. There was another part of the Olympics that I probably haven't talked a lot about, and I'm not sure why, because it was really cool. Sam and I had a chance to write an album called Innovators 2. For those of you that know my music, know that Innovators was a popular album that was done. Well, Innovators was not as well known, but it dealt with sports champions, and more particularly Olympic champions. So we did music for Sam and I for Dick Fosbury, who invented the Fosbury flop, a high jumper. Nadia Comaneci, we did a song called Perfection about her perfect score. I did a song for Dan Jansen called Fire on Ice. It was really a fun way of scoring these stories of these great Olympians. We performed that live at Kingsbury Hall during the 2002 Olympics. I don't think there's a video that exists. I wish there were. Maybe someday we'll do another version of that, but that was my other 2002 experience. And finally, I've been asked now by somebody in the know, hey, Kurt, are you going to do music in 2034 for the Olympics in Salt Lake City? Well, I don't want to assume anything. Certainly don't want to be cocky. And if you do the mathematics with my age, I just got to keep myself fit. And if I'm asked, and I'm in good shape, and I've still got my musical facilities, I will be there no matter how they ask, because the Olympics have always been very special to me. So please enjoy now from the 2002 closing ceremonies, Flags of the Nations.